Hello everyone! This video is about vocabulary. In particular, I'm going to give you some ways in which you can expand it. Language is made up of different parts, and vocabulary plays a huge role in our ability to speak fluently. So in this video, we are going to take a look at some very simple adjectives like happy, sad, tired, and so on, and I'm going to give you alternative ways in which you can express those same concepts with lots of different terms, especially if you want to emphasize that concept. So instead of saying very happy, very sad, and so on and so forth. So let's get started. Happy is a really common word in English, and of course there's nothing wrong with using it, but sometimes it can sound a bit too dull or overused. So instead of saying I'm very happy, you could say I'm thrilled, I'm ecstatic, delighted, overjoyed, elated. Or you could use some idioms like over the moon, on cloud nine, in seventh heaven, on top of the world, floating on air. Let's take a look at some examples. Sarah was thrilled to start her new job. He was over the moon about going on vacation. John was delighted with his new house. Just like happy, sad can sound a bit too dull, especially if you're trying to impress your teacher or if you're writing an essay and your vocabulary needs to be giving something more. So instead of saying very sad, you could use miserable, devastated, heartbroken, downhearted, dejected, disappointed, low-spirited, crestfallen, desolate, melancholy. For example, I was heartbroken when my partner left me. She looked dejected when they told her she didn't get the job. In this case, dejected means disappointed, that is, unhappy about something that didn't go as you had hoped. I was living a miserable life. That means extremely sad, miserable. Of course, each one of these alternatives I'm giving you has a certain nuanced meaning, a precise context in which it can be used. I will tell you some of them, but in general, these are things that you will learn with experience, so careful not to use them in every situation. We use the word good so much, and of course we need it, but sometimes it can be too simple. In its place, if we want to say very good, we could say amazing, awesome, wonderful, magnificent, fantastic, fabulous, splendid, exceptional, excellent, marvelous. These are pretty much interchangeable. They can all be applied to so many contexts. For example, I feel amazing. I read a wonderful book. The movie I watched yesterday was exceptional. You look splendid. Just like very good can sound dull, so does its contrary, very bad. Instead of saying very bad, we could say awful, terrible, horrible, dreadful. For example, this room smells awful. It smells really, really bad. I have a terrible headache. That was a dreadful experience. It means it was an extremely bad and unpleasant experience. Tired is another adjective that can be sometimes overused. Again, the problem is not the adjective itself, it's just that we don't want to be too repetitive when we're speaking and especially when we're writing. So instead of saying very tired, you could say exhausted, worn out, fatigued, sleepy, burnt out, spent, weary. The correct pronunciation is weary. Careful. Don't forget that pronunciation is another very important aspect of communication, and if you would like to improve it, I really recommend you try an app called Elsa Speak. I'll show you how it works. With Elsa, you can take your pronunciation and vocabulary to the next level. You can choose from a variety of different topics, and for each exercise, you will get accurate feedback on your pronunciation. Let's take the word weary as an example. You can look up the word, listen to its pronunciation, and then repeat. Weary. The app will tell you how accurate your pronunciation was. And if you made a mistake, it tells you which one it is. So if I say wary, it tells me that the vowel sound is incorrect. You can download Elsa Speak for free and get a 7-day trial of the Pro membership, which I really recommend you buy to unlock the app's full potential. Luckily, I have some amazing discounts for you down below, so you can get up to 85% off the full price. Let me know if you liked it. Now, back to very tired. Depending on the context, you could also say that you're fed up when you're tired of something, sick of, bored with, or bored by. Now, let's make some examples. I've worked all night. I'm exhausted. I'm feeling sleepy. I'd better go. I'm absolutely spent. I'm sick of your disrespectful behavior. Sometimes we just need the word beautiful to express how much we appreciate someone or something. But if we want to take it a step further, instead of saying very beautiful, we could say gorgeous, gorgeous, stunning, delightful, ravishing, handsome, magnificent, bewitching, charming, exquisite, prepossessing. Now, some of these are more formal than others, like prepossessing and ravishing. By the way, prepossessing isn't just used to indicate beauty. It could also mean interesting or impressive. Also, some of these words are used in different contexts. For example, handsome is used just for men. Some examples. You look stunning in that dress. What a delightful evening. Ugly is another basic word that we could replace with hideous, grotesque. For example, instead of saying that sweater is very ugly, you could say that sweater is hideous. She was accused of displaying grotesque behavior. Of course, these words can sound very disrespectful if you use them to describe a person, so please don't do that. Little is an indispensable adjective. We cannot do without it. But if you're describing something and you want to use another term to emphasize how little something is, instead of saying very little or very small, you could say tiny, minuscule, minute. Careful, it's not minute, it's minute. Dainty, wee, teeny, teensy. For example, the show was a wee bit tedious. The documentary showed an eye operation in minute detail. If you're talking about duration, you can also use brief, fleeting, short-lived, momentary, ephemeral to describe a little amount of time. For example, I felt sad for a fleeting moment. I had a momentary rush of joy. Just like little, big can be a bit dull as an adjective. Again, if you're describing something and you want to vary your vocabulary, instead of saying very big, you could say huge, enormous, gigantic, extensive, monumental, voluminous, spacious, colossal, considerable, substantial, sizable, vast. For example, Jack's new house is huge. I need a considerable amount of paper for my new project. The museum is full of monumental sculptures. What if something is very difficult? Instead of overusing the same adjective, you can say challenging, demanding, strenuous, complicated. Having 2 kids can be quite demanding. This has been a challenging time for us. He rarely does anything more strenuous than changing the channels on the television. Alright everyone, that was it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like it, share it with your friends, and hit the subscribe button on my channel. Also, if you want to support my work, you can send me a super thanks. I would really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!